Hello and welcome to episode 8 of our podcast, Separated by Water. Join me as always is my friend and co-host Colin Campbell, who's back in Ireland for tonight's episode. Also join me is another friend of mine, Derek Campbell, a season ticket holder and a fervent supporter of Chelsea FC. I can bear witness to how passionate he is about his club because I witnessed it firsthand whilst watching the 2008 Champions League final. It was Man United against Chelsea, and we watched it. It can only be described as a Man United supporters bar in Mallow in County Cork. But anyway, I'll tell you how that ended in a minute or two, if Derek doesn't mind.
That's fine.
Because Derek is with us, we will talk all things Chelsea. We will review the Chelsea Forest game and how Forest stopped the Cole Palmer show and continued on unbeaten record. I think Colin is going to give us a quick synopsis of the Brighton v Spurs game, and we will discuss other rising matters and just have a general chat about football. We love it when you join in, so please join us in the comments section for what we hope is going to be another busy episode of Separated by Water.
Well, hello. Thanks, Paul. It's nice to be back home, I think. Jet lag's kicked in a wee bit. So my name's Colin Campbell, a Spurs season ticket holder from Drumahoe in Northern Ireland. Or if the subtitles were to be believed a couple of weeks ago, a Spurge season ticket holder from Bump in Canada. However, definitely not. The podcast, what we're about, we're for everyone, but we're of particular interest, we think, to people in Ireland, North and South, who follow our sport teams in England, particularly in the Premiership. We want to hear from you. Where we're different, we try to be intelligent, informative, and invigorating. So if you feel that's for you, you're for us. Paul's mentioned comments. We love to get comments. We've had some good ones so far, and some challenging ones. I believe, Paul, there are a couple of comments directed to me. Is that true?
Yeah, well, certainly are. Firstly, welcome to Mulberry, Derek. Thanks for joining us on the podcast, Derek.
Thank you.
For those listening, Derek and I used to work together for a period, used to drive around Ireland and discussing football. So great for joining us. Great of you to join us, Derek, and thanks. And it's really good to see you again, buddy. A few messages last week. I'll cover three. A few messages. The first one I got a few messages saying that I introduced you as my friend, Colin, but I didn't introduce Kevin as a friend. I just introduced him as a Man United supporter. So I just thought I'd address that and say, yeah, he is a friend, and he knows that in a way. Several Forest.
I thought you said you were going to address that by saying I'm not a friend.
No. Several Forest supporters and a couple of the ones that are not Forest supporters have sent me messages, Colin, awaiting your apology for your 6 goals in 6 games by Brennan Johnson.
Well, he said several Forest fans, so that's the full lot. Then that's all of them are to get in touch with me. That's very kind of them. Brennan Johnson, I'll come to that in a minute. Yes, look, we all love our teams, and sometimes that means we get frustrated. My criticism of Brennan at the time, if it was even criticism, was that in the match that I was reviewing, the North London derby, having been there, I think he was hiding a wee bit. I just think that something happened. He wasn't trying to pass the full back or get into the positions where he's done since. Now, 6 and 6, I love it. It's great. Harry Kane says blah, 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 but let's not go there. I would want to see him get goals against, he got one against United, but against the Cities, the Liverpools and the Arsenals too. But yes, I'm delighted, and Forest fans, yes, I'm glad he's there, and I have high hopes. So if apologies due, yes, I apologise for what I said. And I'll be happy to keep apologising all season if he keeps scoring. So thanks for that.
Fair enough. Okay, the other thing I received several messages about was the fact that in the comments section, Kevin got nobbled by Smithy being sacked by Malaga Celtic. I have to say, a few times I've had a snigger about that as I went along this week. Just thought it was very funny, you know.
Right, Paul, your puzzler.
Yes. I think it's probably very easy. but I'll put it up there anyway. Since the establishment of the Premier League, only a small number of clubs can claim never to have been relegated from the league. Who are they? And the clue is there's 6 of them in total. Please don't Google, guys. Send in your answers. Let us know what you think, and we'll review the answer at the end of it. Also, guys, in the comment section, if you maybe just tell us who you support, send in any messages at all. Take part. It's all what we're all about. We love the crack. We love the crack.
Okay.
So
thank you. Interesting. I think I've got a few of them. I've been doing better. I started badly and picked up a wee bit, unlike some of my teams. But interesting one. Okay, I'll keep thinking about that. All right. Well, that brings us now to special guest time. Derek Campbell, as you've said. And we've met. He and I've met too. I can certainly say that. Okay, Derek. Thanks for coming on. We genuinely appreciate it. It's very good to have some Chelsea input, because obviously they've been noteworthy, let's say that, since the season started. Well, Derek, you seem like a right sort of a fella, really. So why Chelsea?
Well, that's a fair question. And I suppose in many ways it was in the run-up to the 1970 FA Cup final. I hadn't really any affiliation to any team at that time. And what drew me to Chelsea was probably my hatred of Leeds, more so at that time. If you remember right, Leeds were going for the treble that year. And they dirtied their way through the whole season. They lost to Celtic in the semi-final. They lost the league by a couple of points, and their last chance at glory was the FA Cup final. So I think there was a lot of bad mouthing at that time. Leeds are going to do this to the Southern Softies. So over the period of the 2 matches, my love for Chelsea just grew. And basically, it was the first time I ever witnessed a midweek match late at night, the replay at Old Trafford. And it just basically came from, I love Chelsea, basically grew from there. And obviously the won, so I was absolutely delighted. So I stumbled upon them in many ways. There was nothing else, nobody I knew. Or I have an older brother, but I didn't support the team he supported. So I made my own choices there, Yeah. So what do you call it? And it all came from there. And what really sold it was, I think the next week my mum went out and bought me a long sleeve Chelsea FA Cup winning football shirt. The only problem, she got the number 4 ironed on the back instead of number 9, so it became John Holland's instead of Peter Osgood. So basically simple, and they won my heart from there. That was simply for that, and that was it. There was no going back, really.
Very interesting. I mean, obviously you were talking about Chelsea leaders, so you don't carry a grudge. You're not the kind of fella carries a grudge. Very good.
That love affair still goes on with Leeds.
yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair to you, they've been up and down years since.
Absolutely.
Up and down in recent times, but I do remember what Chelsea were in the second division, as it was called at the time, for quite a while. Well, look, we'll come right up to date, and obviously I would ask you to review Sunday's game against Forest. Now, last week when the United Spurs review was taking place, Paul had a bell to keep calm. I haven't got a bell, but it's something much more useful. It's a wine glass. So if I need to use that, Derek, Sunday, Chelsea won, Forest won. What happened?
Yeah, it was. I think a lot of Chelsea fans just believe, well, despite Forest beating Liverpool with our home form of the previous week, we just basically have to turn up and we'll win this. I knew it wasn't going to be like that at all. For me, the turning point was when Forest went down to 10 men. Bear in mind, it was still 13 minutes plus 12 minutes, 25 full minutes to rectify that, and I think just utter panic set in. The goalkeeper started launching the ball up from the halfway line, saying that they couldn't get it together, And Forest, to be fair, played the game very, very well, defended in numbers, done what they had to do, slowed the play down, injuries, things that stopped the momentum. And there was four chances in that last 5 minutes of injury time. We had 2 and Forest had 2, and to be fair, Forest's chances were a lot better than ours. So at the very end of the match, it was relief. Then 10 minutes later, it was disappointment. But I don't think we deserved any more than the point. But overall, was quite disappointed with it.
But a decent point, having said that,
yes,
I suppose.
Yes.
Okay, Paul, do you refute that evidence, or what's your view?
No,
I
agree. We were just chatting before we come on there, and for the first time ever, I walked away. I couldn't watch the last 13 minutes of the game. I couldn't stay in the room. My heart was my mouth. I thought, we're down to 10 men. I think we played better with 10 men than we did with 11 men. I believe that Nuno put a plan in place. He put a plan in place to frustrate Chelsea in the midfield. Ryan Yates just kept on doing that. He frustrated them so much that they ended up getting 6 yellow cards. I believe that our goalkeeper, Sells, has cemented his place as a number one keeper. He was exceptional. He had a great game. I think our back four, Milenkovic, Murillo, Marino, and Aina. I heard a stat on the radio the other day. I haven't followed it up, so I can't say it's true or not. But they say that they're the third most successful defence in the league after Arsenal and Liverpool. I haven't followed that up, so I don't know. But I do think now that Forest are, I have to say, away from home, we're a force to be reckoned with. And I just hope that we can keep it going. We've played Liverpool, we played Chelsea, we played Brighton, as you know how hard they are to be, and we get 5 points from them 3 games. So we're not slouches. We're there now. I think we're a mid team, a mid league Premier team that can stay in the league, and I hope we get a good run in the FA Cup or something like that there. But I thought that it was a great game. It was an end-to-end game, and I thought they've done it just exactly what they had to do to keep Chelsea at bay.
Yeah,
fair enough. In many ways, I'm glad they did. And in the spirit of Brennan Johnson, you do remember what I told you about Chris Wood when he signed?
Yep. You did?
Yep. Okay.
You told me he was going to score goals, and I honestly, he's one of them players. I don't know, is it Newcastle? I don't tune into their games or whatever, but I just didn't even know he existed. Elliot Anderson, I didn't really know he existed. I knew the name, but that was about it, But no, it was a good game. You weren't over at it, Derek.
No, I wasn't over for that one.
When are you over for the next game?
My next game's the Arsenal one in November. So I always try and get the big 6 in if I can, plus the likes of Forest and Spurs as well,
Yeah, well, we'll look forward to that. Maybe you'll do maybe you'll do a video diary for us for that. I'll chat to you about that later at the time, and we can feature that.
Is that pre-match and after-match could be 2 different
pre-match, going to the match, while you're at the match, having a beer, travel, what time you set off in the morning at the airport, just to let people know what it's like. After all, we're called separated by water. We're separated by water in that we have to travel across water to get to our games. So that's what people want to hear. So we'll talk to you about that later on in the game. But while we're talking about that, you're going over to Stamford Bridge. We hear about all the deterioration of Old Trafford. The Etihad Stadium is leaking water, etc. In heavy storms. What's Stamford Bridge like, and what are the facilities like? Are they good, or?
Well, they're okay, Paul. The big problem is the size of the ground. It's 40,000 people. That can't continue. They're going to need to come up with something to make the ground bigger or move. That's one of the things to know. But in general, it's okay. The seating areas around the ground, that's all well preserved. I haven't spotted anything of decay around the ground, and I would walk around it from time to time and have a look. But the issue is space, basically, that's going to be our downfall. What they come up with in later years too. I don't think they know themselves really what they're going to do. There's political issues as well with moving, and different fans groups have inputs into it. So it's not just the owners who will be making the decision,
Yeah, and would you be happy moving, or would you rather do something at Stamford Bridge?
Personally, I think a move would be better. I know that a bit of a heartbreaker, but I prefer they were building somewhere else while playing at Stamford Bridge and then moving like what was it Arsenal did, on like what the Spurs player had to play at Wembley, and they're playing 38 away matches, and this would take 5 years, so that's a major issue as well, But probably they talk about Earl's Court or Battersea Park, but these are all rumours, and nothing concrete's come out of it,
Right.
Good oak. Derek, you mentioned that you said you're a season ticket holder.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how's that going? Cost.
That's going. I'm now into my 3rd year. Having the season ticket. basically prior to that, it was like what they call an associate member, where you pay your £50 a year, which gives you access to apply for tickets. Some people run that got you a ticket, but no, it doesn't. It got you into what we call a virtual waiting room, and you're in a queue waiting for tickets. That was very much hit and miss. Have you tried 6 times a year? If you got 1 or 2, you'd be doing well. You know, all during that time, they created this what they call the Westview Terrace, which is more of a hospitality area, and they created a waiting list for that. So lo and behold, 3 years I got notification that I'd been accepted for a ticket. Now it's a bit more exclusive, it's a bit more expensive, but I quite like the system that they operated. You can go into the ground 2.5 hours before kickoff. There's 2 lovely bars, 360-degree bars, four food bars. You know, before a match, the most frustrating can be when you're waiting to get a drink. Well, you can go in and get a drink as quick as you want it, you know, and wee things like that, and lovely seats to sit on and screens. So yes, whilst you accept it's quite expensive, I make the most and get the best out of it. For anybody trying to buy a ticket in the Westview, the prices would be exorbitant. I'd speak to all people from New Zealand, from New Jersey, from Finland, and what they have paid for their ticket. You know, you're talking hundreds of pounds. You know, so it's how they probably get them online somewhere, I would imagine, rather than within the club. You know, but how long will go on? Who knows? Just as my health permits, I suppose. And I'll be looking forward to next season. And it's just since I got the season ticket, they can't win a home match. It's been unfortunate timing, but
start to know the feeling. In terms of travel, gone over and all, you know, how does that work for you? Is it easy or what?
Well, again, with the TV, you're dependent on the TV companies. You try to second guess if it's Tottenham, Chelsea. Well, you say that will be a TV match. Is it going to be 12:30 on a Saturday? Is it going to be 4:00 on a Sunday? So you have to wait. So you get normally about 6 to 7 weeks, and then it would be announced. So then we'll obviously get my accommodation. Now, where I stay in Wandsworth is about a 10-minute bus journey to Stamford Bridge. A choice of 3: Holiday Inn, Express, Premier Inn, or Travelodge, and whatever's the least expensive on that particular weekend is the right one. And it's amazing that the cost between staying on a Saturday and a Sunday is unbelievable. You're talking double price on a Saturday. So a Sunday match gives that bit of extra money for extra drink, you know. So, but as I say, I treat it as an event when I go over. A family over there, my grandson, but I give him mention Brian Finn there. So they're a great leveler. Win, lose, or draw after the match, they're a great leveler for me to bring me back down to earth. So as I say, I treat it as an event, and of course, if they win, it's always better. But enjoy the whole trip, really, of it.
Yeah.
And I've befriended 2 or 3 guys over there now. You know, we get out. Kevin and the two Kevins and a Steve and an Alan just took me under their wing, and just so they would meet up. They'd always be there every match I go to. So whilst you're traveling along, do a lot on your own. There's people there to greet you, so it's not so bad, you know.
Very good. Have you bought them around yet?
Lucky enough, the last time we were all together was 2 weeks ago at the Brighton match. It was my birthday, so unfortunately, I didn't have to put my hand in my pocket. Well, I will the next time.
As I said earlier, I worked with Derek for quite a bit, and I think he had about 3 or 4 birthdays a year, and it always seemed to coincide with the night we went out for a bite to eat or a drink. You know, we have somebody there is asking Chelsea FFP. Colin's asking Chelsea FFP financial fair play, but fair play if you get rid of Mason Mount to United. He's a Man United.
Yes, we absolutely sold Mason Mount for 65 million, and it was one of the best transactions we achieved. There's no doubt about that. His form had been terrible in his last year at Chelsea, so we could see what was coming, and he just hadn't produced it for Manchester United either, and he's just seemed to struggle to be fit. With regards to the FFP, that's a very good question. Again, I think we're going to be okay with FFP. The way these contracts are extended. It's more, there's other issues that are rumoured. We could be facing transfer ban or potential points deduction for other misdemeanours that our previous owner had done. Our new owner did self-reported these. Whether that gets a bit of leniency, I don't know. But that is in the background. As regards to FFP, I think we'll be fine.
Okay, I hope so. Well, we'll wait and see. And it seems to me that everybody's fine except Forest and Everton. But anyway, James Barry,
I agree with that.
James Barry is a Chelsea fan, and that leads me on to my next question. Chelsea fans in Ireland and who are not, let's say, not season ticket holders, or even can they have any access to tickets, Derek, from within the club? You know, is there any system? I've got my Forest ticket.
Yeah, I understand that. Apparently, there's on any given home match, there's roughly 50 to 60,000 people looking for 15,000 tickets per home match.
Yes.
That's how difficult it is. For the man who's neither a member, I think it's very, very, very difficult that you can do it all in going online and paying excessive amounts for it. That seems to be the way it is. And because there's only 42,000 seats, you know, there's not a lot to go around at the end of the day. And 70% of that season ticket holders, it's very difficult for people just, I'll go to a Chelsea match, I'll buy a ticket next month. It's very, very difficult, you know.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Okay, fair enough. Well, just one sort of last question from me. I think I can anticipate the answer. Chelsea, given their recent managerial history, are you happy with this manager?
He's okay. You know, I think it's early days to be judging him. To be honest, I'm still a Tuchel man. I wish we'd stayed with Thomas Tuchel. I know his Bayern record wasn't so good, but I think it was a great match between Chelsea and Tuchel. Just unfortunately, the way it all worked out with the sanctions and everything, it petered out really, you know. But yes, he seemed an onward-thinking man, Maresca. He has his own way of doing things. He's young. He deserves a chance. There's no point in putting him under pressure and Christmas talking about Mourinho or somebody else again, you know, because that just won't work either. So, yeah, and honestly, the jury's still out, but he deserves this season, next season, to see how it all transpires.
Okay. So, yes.
And yes, we will win that. We will win the Conference League this year, and we will be the only team to win every European trophy. Whoever asked that question, you're sort of at the bottom of it.
Yeah,
that's it, James. We'll do the European treble.
Okay.
We'll beat Bayern in the final.
That's something to look forward to.
Yeah. Derek, we normally would ask about the forthcoming week. There is no game next week with international break, but you're on with us now. Will you preview the Liverpool game? You're away to Liverpool. Will you tell me what do you think you can get from that?
Probably a bit of a drubbing, to be honest with you. We're going in with a couple of men suspended. Off the back of it, we'll have the likes of Maresca and Casado arriving back on, you know, the Friday night for the Sunday match. You know, there's all of it. I appreciate Liverpool will have the same. We don't have a great record at Liverpool anymore. I predict a bit of controversy, and we'll lose 2-0. And we'll have at least one disallowed for VAR.
Yeah.
Nicholas Jackson's right toe offside, you know, but that's normal standard for Liverpool. But yes, I'll be delighted if we give a good performance and stood up and still lost. I'm happy with that.
Well, we've given them the blueprint of how to close you down now. So
and
you know what? We had a man sent off. But I think the refereeing on Saturday or on Sunday was exceptional. I think it was very good refereeing. He lost his way a wee bit whenever they started to fight with one another. But yes, I think overall it was a good refereeing performance. Did you see it, Colin?
Yeah, I did. I saw the highlights. Yeah, I did, and I sort of agree with what's been said. What surprised me, to be blunt, was Forest's performance, which I thought was very, very good.
Yeah,
and I think I'm delighted for Nuno.
Yeah,
I think he was. You know, I don't think he was right for Spurs, but I was delighted for him in terms of what's going wrong, what's going well now.
Yeah,
and I'd seen the first season, about his 5th game, they were away at Newcastle, and they came back. They equalised, and what's so bad about that? But what I liked about it was how he changed things. All of a sudden, Forest got the initiative and scored. You know, managers can make that happen, and that's I suppose what we want really from them. You know.
Yeah. Okay. I just saw a funny tweet this week. I'll maybe try and if anybody has any funny tweets to see. There was a Kieran Gil. I follow him on Twitter, and he said that Chelsea will actually be fined 50,000 by the FA for picking up more than 6 cards. And and they get 25,000 punishment for Bournemouth. And Jeff Stelling, he's very witty. You know, we all know who Jeff Stelling is. He says, "Can they spread the payments over 9 years?" I just thought it was very funny, you know. But anyway, yeah, thanks for that, Derek. I hope you do okay against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
So, Colin, have you anything for us on note of concern?
Note of concern, yeah. Well, just to say to tail off what were the emerging issues there, I suppose. I'm just saying, Man United are still telling us nothing, in my opinion. 2 draws really, don't settle anything. Spurs are starting to tell us everything. I just say that I've already mentioned probably that, with a team looking, Brighton were looking at us for 45 minutes, come out and changed it and did what they had to do. I'm disappointed about that. I think the table's taking shape along the usual lines. Notes of concern this week, I suppose it's based on what I mentioned a week ago about pundits getting managers sacked. I'm not going that far, but 2 guys I'm a wee bit worried about. Crystal Palace and Luton Town. We mentioned the EFL last week. I think Crystal Palace started strongly with Glasner last year. Very strong finish. I think the expectations were a lot higher than the return so far this season. I think it's 3 points and no wins. Somebody was saying he doesn't know his best 11 and so on and so forth. When those things start to seep in, Rob Edwards, I suppose, actually Luton expected to be a lot higher than where they currently are. And the loss sort of to Sheffield United, which isn't itself a disgrace, but Sheffield came down with them and they were probably expecting to be closer than that, both in terms of the table and in the result. I think each team lost a couple of players, but, having said that, my point is, my concern is that owners or boards will get trigger happy. And my wish is that they don't and give these 2 guys who have been refreshing in their own ways a chance to get it right or get the teams back up the table. I think Palace have earned the right to be a Premiership team over the years, and Luton were a wonderful, wonderful romantic story. More so even than Wrexham, I think. You get a lot of this news coming from where they came to get into the Premiership. Nobody probably expected them to stay, but I'd like them to be up there competing. So that's my note of concern for today. And anyway, you, Paul.
Yeah, I'm going to throw one in here, and it's about my own, the owner of Forest. I just read today that he's bought another club. He's bought a club called Rio Ave. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it properly. It's a Portuguese team. Right. It has a history. Nuno used to manage it.
Yeah.
Jose Mourinho's father used to manage, which I didn't even know he was a manager. And they've got the 2 European. Is it good for football for a team or an owner to own 3 football clubs, Olympiacos, Nottingham Forest, and Rio Ave? It's, to me, I'm not sure it's good for the Premier League or good for football that there's that many. One person can own 3 teams. I can see what he's doing. It's good for recruitment, and it's good for protecting themselves for FFP, so that he can move players about, and he does quite a bit of that with Olympiacos. We bought 3 players, I think, in the summertime, and they all went straight to Olympiacos on loan. So I don't know, and I'd be interested in your views on that, guys. Like, is it a good thing for somebody to have 3 teams who may meet up at some stage as they all improve?
Well, Chelsea, the owner, they basically own Strasbourg, and there's been a lot of to and from between Chelsea and players going on loan to Strasbourg. I'm not overly comfortable with it, to be honest with you, because there must be a conflict of interests when you have Man United and Nice the way last season about ownership. One team had to play in a lower competition, but I don't think it will get any worse. I can't see a lot of owners wanting to take. For instance, I wouldn't see Spurs, like Lever, wanting to buy clubs. We'd want to invest their money in something else, probably. But
it's just a limit. Like in Marinakis, that's three clubs. Now I know his son. I think his son's going to be active in this Rio Ave. But I just thought I'd mention it.
But instinctively, I'm against it.
Yeah.
And they'd say, well, why? And I'd say, I'm not so sure. Probably the financial reasons, whereby a couple of teams can act as feeder clubs to another team, but then that probably happens anyway in big cities where a lesser team tends to lose their players to a bigger team. I wouldn't like to see it, as Derek says, it won't get any worse. I wouldn't like to see it get any worse, if that's or more common, probably if that's the term. I mean, in terms of the Spurs angle, well, with Spurs with NFL and concerts and go-kart racing, whatever the hell it is, we're in enough of enough. I suppose, will the team, when you get a situation whereby the teams become of equal status, each of the teams will probably be saying, well, if you left them and came to us, we could really go for it here, but I particularly don't like it. No, I'd rather it didn't happen, frankly. But that's money. That's money.
Yeah, and I would share your view, Derek. I'm not comfortable with it. And I just think that there's room for problems. But anyway, we haven't had any guesses in yet for the puzzler. It's just the 6 teams that have been relegated from the Premiership. They haven't been relegated from the Premiership. There might be one of them goes this year. You never know.
I think I've got 5.
Okay, we'll do them in a wee minute or two. Do you want to have a quick look at the league, top and bottom? There's the top. Liverpool, Manchester City, Arsenal, and Chelsea. You're in European position there. Villa. I saw a stat earlier on. There's a couple of Villa must have had a shocker on Saturday. There's a website. It's on Twitter. I follow it, and it's called The Other 14. It generally deals with the other 14 outside the big 6, and it gives you those stats for the week. And I looked at Villa. Villa are at bottom there, 11 shots and only 1 on target at the weekend for week 7. But they're very good. They do these stats up all the time, and I recommend, if you're on Twitter or X, follow them. They do the all 20, covering all 20 clubs, and then they do the other 14. But I just saw the stats there for that. And again, Spurs, where you're at, 13, 3 on target. Chelsea, 22, 8 on target. We had 16 shots against you, Derek, with 9 on target. So, it does show you, it's a good old stat just to look at it.
Percentage terms, Nottingham Forest were the best there then. Nottingham Forest would have been the best.
Yeah, well, in theory, I suppose stats don't always tell the truth. They don't tell the truth.
There was an old saying years ago, we're ahead, it's a draw, but we're ahead on corners. I wary of the stats too much. There's one stat that counts, and that's goals. And percentage of the ball or shots. Shots off target could be one goal is where they've gone. Shots on target, okay, but I like to see goals. And Villa, they're okay, bottom of that table, but they drew, and they're pretty high up on another table, and they're doing okay.
Kevin stuck in his guest there. United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs, and Everton. I'll let you know if that's right in a minute or two.
Okay.
Just one final thing before you move on to your thing there, Colin. You've the fastest player in the league.
Well, there's another stat. Good.
I think he's exceptional. Anthony Alanga, Erling Haaland. I didn't realise he was as quick as he is.
That's wrong. I don't believe that. Kyle Mudryk's the fastest player. He never takes the ball with him, but he's the fastest player. I would say. Yeah. Talk sport.
Yeah, I know. Talk.
Good.
Something else.
He's very fast. He's good. He's very, very fast, and his goal again. The setup, the assist, we'll call him that is, against United was excellent. And I would like to see him and the others get the foot in a wee bit more, frankly, just at the minute. But the speed's pace, we call it speed, whatever it is, good. But it's not the whole story.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Paul. I think I have 5. Who's the one I've missed? He had there. I had Spurs, Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, and Everton.
Yep, Fergus agrees with Kevin, and the answer
Chelsea.
is as he says. Let me just get the answer. We'll just check it there.
Yeah.
Yep. Manchester United, Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, Everton, and Chelsea.
I thought Chelsea had gone down in the early 90s, in the early
No, they haven't been. Just missed out. When were Manchester City relegated from the Premier League?
I went down.
Did they start in the Premier League?
No,
see that there's teams that come up maybe 2 seasons, you could say, and they're still in the Premier League, have never been relegated. But does it mean from the start of it? You know,
that's from the start of it. Yeah, that's the original lineup. So
good question.
Yes, thanks for the input there. Colin, we've been asked to a couple of things to discuss. We're going into the international break. Will we have a podcast next week?
Well, I think so. I think that we should be the antidote to the international break. I think what we can do maybe is look at some of the features we haven't covered in the last few weeks because we're guests, and do a wee bit more previewing for the week to come. If you're happy with that,
I'm happy with that. There is a couple of subjects that we've been asked to cover. I get messages today. One is the Champions League, the new qualifying system, and I was going to pass this to you. If you maybe, because at the end of the day, you guys are in Europe, I'm not. New qualifying system, is it better or is it worse? Is there more jeopardy? And to be honest, for me, how exactly does it work? How do these 32 teams get split up? So maybe we'll discuss that next week.
Okay, we'll do that. Happy to do it. Because, I mean, UEFA's solution to players playing too many games is move the qualifying rounds from 6 games to 8.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting start. Okay, we'll look at that. Absolutely. Good idea.
And the second thing, somebody messaged me today. I can't even remember who it was, and I apologise. I will mention you next week when I find out. Man City winning another legal battle against the Premiership. I know it's nothing to do with 115.
Yeah. Well, yes, we'll have a look at that. And I was reading that today and thought, no, there's too much there to start tonight. You know, we already had our agenda, but that I think that will run. Let's say, we'll have a look at that. Okay.
Yeah. So that's it. So and I will do I'll do a bit on the Fantasy Premier League. We're finishing up now in a minute or two. I will do a proper section on the Fantasy Premier League. The West Cork Wonder League. We'll talk about all the movers and shakers. I cannot succeed at this. You've actually leapfrogged me up again. I'm second bottom. I scored 27 points. Jack Ryan with the Chosen None had a massive 90 points this week. Arthur Nicholson with United had 86 points last week. I had 27 points. No matter who I pick as a forward, they don't score. They just don't get goals. So
the goal out chance will be getting lighter now.
Yeah.
Getting goal out.
Do you do Fantasy Premier League, Derek?
I don't know. I don't. But I know a lot of people do, and it's nearly more important to some people than the actual football. Yeah, I found out with coming to Chelsea, such and such is being bought at this. Isn't that ridiculous? And they're talking about something. It's a game rather than a football match.
I put myself off it when I was starting to cheer Arsenal players scoring goals to give me points.
You know, you've got to be very careful.
I have to be true to myself. You know. Okay, guys, and that sounds like a very good, very entertaining.
Thank you.
Session. It's nice to be back. I must admit I'm suffering a bit of jet lag, but I'll get there. I had a wonderful time, and it is lovely to be back also. Good way to start the week. Paul, thank you. Derek, thank you.
Yep, thanks, chaps.
And as I said, we'll be back same time next week, Paul.
Yep, same time next week. Derek, thank you very much. Very informative. And
thank you. We'll come back later in the season, towards the end of the season. I'll have me back. I'll do another one.
Great. See where we are. If you will remember to do the video diary for us next time you're over, send it to us and we'll do a wee feature on it because that's what we want to see and that's what people want to know how you travel, etc. So thanks, Derek.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, folks, thanks very much. if you're not subscribed to our channel, it's free. Please subscribe to it, like and share us, and we'll see you again next week. We already told you what we're talking about. Derek, Colin, thank you very much.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe,
All the best, guys.
and we'll talk
Cheers.
soon. Thanks, folks.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.